douchebag.
That's right. Hey, Neera, you need to stop being a douchebag. By the way, she makes $397,000 a year running the Center for American Progress. It is absolutely unbelievable, folks. It is nuts. But we need to have unity. No, we effing don't. Telling the truth is not sowing seeds of discourse. It's telling the truth. Bottom line. Like we're going to tell the truth about this. I want to get to this because I really want to piss off the neoliberals today.
Go get them. I got one right after that.
Yep. I have this. This is published by the Sydney Morning Herald. It was dated April 17th out of London. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been given an award established in honor of an assassinated journalist. Assange, jailed last week after being forcibly removed from the Ecuadorian embassy in London, was awarded the 2019 GUE-NGL Award for Journalists, Whistleblowers, and Defenders of the Right to Information. It is sponsored by European parliamentarians after being established in 2018 in honor of assassinated Maltese journalist Daphne Galizia. You remember what happened to her. We talked about it right on this show. They didn't like what she was publishing, so they put a car bomb in her rented car and blew her up.
Yep.
Right there, that's what Julian Assange is facing. Oh, Julian, he's not a journalist. He's not a real journalist. Yeah, really.
Darren, I'm gonna.
That bull's gonna need some preparation H after today, I think.
Chico got some of that. Yeah, he's getting up.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take on the whole notion that the far left, which is a ridiculous moniker, they're the ones responsible for the division. When it's actually, this is going to sound strange, it's the divisive center that causes the division. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. It's the center. You know, Tom Hartman himself is on this bandwagon that, we need a centrist. We get a centrist, then we get some of the people that aren't far left. Well, hey, don't they call Bernie far left? Didn't Bernie himself just sit down in a Fox News town hall? He shocked the mainstream establishment this week by appearing on a Fox News town hall. Even more surprisingly, he was triumphant on a station most known for its support for Trump and extreme conservatism. How'd he do that, Darren? What was it that appealed to these hardcore conservatives? What we've been harping on all day, the issues. He won on the issues. In the citadel of right-wing media, he effectively and convincingly promoted progressive policies such as Medicare for all, even if only for a night. He brought more unity to the far right than any candidate in the entire field. He showed that a left-wing agenda that promised to address people's real economic issues and social problems, that alone could unify a country in a common purpose. Not a radical purpose, a sensible purpose. I'll repeat, the division doesn't come from the left, or as Tanden wants you to think, the far left. Unification comes from the left. The division comes when you got people wondering, what does this centrist believe in? Do they believe in Medicaid for all?
Nope.
No, but they don't know. So they're divided. They did what they did in the last election. They voted for Trump down in the Rust Belt because they scratched their head and said, well, give me some bona fide examples of how the Democrat centrists, what they've done for the working man. Then they couldn't come up with one. They couldn't come up with a let's stop right to work like Bernie's suggesting. It's incredible. The divide over Sanders reflects a dilemma at the heart of the Democratic Party. Should the party nominate a version of Trump who can match his combativeness, energizing liberals and taking the fight to the president, as in Bernie Sanders? Or should it embrace a consensus builder, Darren? One who can rise over the country's partisan anger and bring people together.
You know what? We've got somebody that can talk on this. I'm going to play little bits and pieces of this from Michael Moore's movie Fahrenheit 11/9. Michael Moore is right on the money with a lot of this.
So if the American people have made it very clear that they want the Democrats running the country, then why aren't they?
I'm prepared to make a whole range of compromises.
Compromise.
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 Well, we sat down and made a compromise.
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 And real compromises.
Compromise.
Compromise. Compromise. Compromise.
Compromise. Oh, my God. I am so sick of that word, Jack. It's unbelievable.
Bless you, Speaker Dana.
So when did all this compromising start? As far back as the last president who said,
"Make America great again."
No, not him.
We can make America great again.
Him, Mr. Bill Clinton.
I feel your pain. I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. It depends on what the definition of is.
The man from Hope, Arkansas. Back in the 80s and 90s, Republican campaigns were flush with corporate cash, and they were winning elections. The Democrats, meanwhile, saw their labor base decimated. Labor was so lost, they couldn't even come up with something to put on their picket signs. So what better way to get in on the action than to start acting like a Republican?
And that's just exactly what they've done.
They're better at it than Republicans in many cases.
Yeah. Well, we'll play more of this in upcoming shows. This is just unbelievable stuff. But I want to get to this because this is a follow-up to a story that we have covered on this show. This is by Ed White at the Associated Press, published at the Detroit Free Press. A former Michigan State Police trooper was convicted of involuntary manslaughter Wednesday in the death of a Detroit teenager who crashed an all-terrain vehicle and died when he was shot with a taser. Mark Besner, who had a history of misconduct allegations involving taser use, fired the immobilizing device from the passenger seat of a patrol car while he and his partner chased 15-year-old Damon Grimes in August 2017. State police officials condemned his conduct and agreed that criminal charges were appropriate. Besner, who quit the department after Grimes' death, said he believed the teen was reaching for a gun in his waistband. Grimes, however, didn't have a weapon. Yeah, he did this, even though it is against Michigan State Police policy. You are not to fire a taser out of your moving police cruiser at anybody. That is an absolute hard no. The prosecutor's witnesses included a state police lieutenant who explained that a taser can be considered a tool of deadly force in certain circumstances. Jurors also heard an audio clip of Besner wishing he could have used a taser in a different ATV incident. And by the way, this isn't his first trial. This is the second trial. He was charged originally with second-degree murder. The jury opted for the lesser charge after deliberating for 1 day. He, by the way, can face 15 years in prison. Unbelievable. It was Besner's second trial. A different jury last fall could not reach a unanimous verdict on a murder charge after listening to him explain emotionally how he absolutely believed that Grimes had a gun. So, once again, it's the excuse. Oh, he had a gun. I can shoot my taser at him while he's going down the road.
You think that's going to be an issue in the first debate that comes up next summer in the Democratic field of candidates? You think you can hear anything about police brutality?
I don't think you'll hear anything about police brutality from any candidate.
Well, we went through the last cycle of campaigning, never heard a word about the environment, did we? I mean, very, very little, if there was anything.
Very little. Bernie Sanders was really it, other than Hillary was talking about, we're going to bring clean coal back to... You're not bringing coal back. I got bad news for you. It's not coming back. Get over it. It's gone. It's not returning.
Talk about how they're linked together. There's no difference between the Democrat or Republican. Pelosi came out this week and also said socialism is not the view of the Democratic Party. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a nation that had a socialist tradition. Our Social Security, I thought it was a Democrat. It was instituted by FDR, if I'm not mistaken. I can go on and on. But this Democratic Party, they're against socialism. She knows that with the Republican attack against socialists now, and with Bernie being called a socialist, you better join with the Republican interpretation of socialism. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, the Republicans have said for years they were going to dismantle FDR's policies brick by brick, and they have. It's disgusting. Oh, boy. And before we head out the door for today, we have our Off the Cuff segment, and I've got a new piece of audio to play. Anytime that Off the Cuff has to do with something of a sexual nature, we're going to play this clip from the Lone Ranger episode from 1955 called Wanted the Lone Ranger. And this was the Lone Ranger and Tano dressing up as circus clowns to catch a crook. The name of the clowns were Bobo and Kinky, the world's most famous clowns. Here's Tano.
Me Kinky.
Oh, boy. Well, this is from locally. From Wood Television, this is published by the Grand Rapids Press. An Indiana man is suing his Ottawa County parents for getting rid of his vast pornography collection, which he estimates is worth $29,000.
Forget baseball cards.
The 40-year-old man last week filed a lawsuit in federal court in Michigan where he moved in with his parents in 2016 following a divorce. He says that when he moved out 10 months later, they delivered his things to his new home in Muncie, Indiana, but that his 12 boxes of pornographic films and magazines were missing.
12 boxes?
His parents admit they dumped the porn, which included titles such as Frisky Business and Big Bad Grannies. Just think about that for a minute, Jack.
Big Bad Grannies?
Big Bad Grannies.
Wow.
The man filed a complaint with police, but the Ottawa County prosecutor declined to press charges. The lawsuit includes an email excerpt from the man's father who told his son, quote, "I did you a big favor by getting rid of all this stuff." End of quote. By the way, this guy isn't looking for just the cost of the collection. He's looking for triple damages. He's suing for $87,000.
Damages isn't what fashion? Emotional damages or?
I don't know. Punitive? Although we apparently don't have punitive damages in Michigan anymore. They call it something else.
Well,
oh, man.
The guy's been bruised.
Oh, boy. How do you know? What do you know what he's been doing?
Well, I could go a long way in that direction. We'll stop for the day.
I think we better stop right there. Time to apply the brakes, folks. We'll be back next week. I'm Darren Gibson.
I'm Jack Prince.
And for our announcer, Kristen Cook, please be kind to each other. Support the First Amendment and support independent media.
The stations that carry Southpaws do not necessarily share the opinions expressed on the show. Southpaws is protected by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and is copyrighted by Big D Entertainment. All rights reserved.